What's up? Big Earl, Northtown Sound. How's it going, everyone? Another episode of All Mod Cons. This is where we start playing with these things, either fixing them, modifying them, getting them all messed up. You get to watch Fat Man fuck up another guitar. Except in this episode. So I'm just about to work on some guitars, and I'm running into a quandary. Having worked on hundreds of guitars, there's one thing I've learned never to trust, and that is guitar necks. The second you take a guitar neck off of tension, it's going to move. It's the nature of wood. And having worked on hundreds of guitars in my life, I've learned not to trust necks that aren't under tension, because they're going to bow, they're going to hump, they're going to twist, if you can see that. And you end up with a piece of firewood or a cricket bat or, I don't know, whatever, beaten stick. So whenever I take a neck off of a guitar to work on it or to work on the body, I clamp it into place. I got no place to clamp necks around here. So I got to clamp them to my work table, and then I got to unclamp them, and then I got to clamp them over here and stuff. It's driving me up the wall. I need some space. So what I'm doing today is I'm building a shelf to mount these necks to while they're clamped, something I can take down and remove because this room's pretty small. It's quite a bit smaller than you would imagine. And to go along with that with clamping, just to make the process a little easier, I'm going to build some clamping cauls. And I thought, what the hell, I'll show you how to do this. This is some Home Depot lutherie, not StuMac approved or any of that stuff. Let's see how this project turns out. I'm using the fancy mic today, sorry folks. Anyways, now with the handy dandy table saw, it was a good 70 bucks that I spent on that years ago. We got some HDF, which is the bane of woodworkers, but it's brilliant stuff because it's stiff, it's stable, and it's flat, which is what I want. So, I've cut two sides here, just split the board in half. They're about 4 feet long. And then these are going to be where the necks actually sit, which are also 4 feet long, just because to simplify the cut on things. Just cutting 4 out, so these are about 2 7/8 inches. Don't ask me the centimeters because I don't have a metric tape measure out here. But if I take an old twisted neck, put it on there, that's going to give me plenty of room for clamping. So I'll be good. The whole idea behind this is that I want this to be collapsible. I don't want it permanent. I want something I can take apart when I'm not working on gears. So I got to round the corners of this stuff, and then I got to cut some holes in here so that these fit in there. Starting to cloud over. It's been one of those unsettled summers. So I just knocked off the edge with a plane. Probably took me as long to knock off the edges on all that with this as it would be to set up the router table. I've marked everything out. We're going with a 45-degree angle that these things are going to be sitting at. So the neck would be on that side, I guess. So I got this one marked out. I'm going to cut this and then use this as the template for the next one. Sorry, I said cut. I meant to say drill. So about 3/4 of the way through. I've got 2 more to do on the second board here. And yeah, chisel. Spent 10 minutes drilling the holes, trimming it out. It would take me longer than that to figure out a jig. So, again, sometimes the old way is the good way of doing things. All you need is a chisel. It doesn't really matter how good it is. All that matters is that it's sharp. So there we go. Here over 15 minutes. Couldn't come up with a jig that fast. So let's go assemble it. There we go. That's together. Now you're going to say, hey, Big Earl, those verticals, they're on an angle. That's wrong. No, that's right. It's being held together by gravity. There's no nails, pins, screws, or anything. There's a little bit of ricketiness to it, but it's not very much. And frankly, all I'm doing is clamping a neck on and leaving it. More than fine. And it'll collapse down to 6 pieces of board, 4 feet long, bungee cord it, maybe that thick. Who cares? Perfect for what I need. Let's build some cauls. A little bit more in the shade here on the old saw table. So I've got a couple of chunks of HDF because this stuff's cheap, and I've got some pine, which is basically a glued up pine shelf that I've ripped down. And I've cut these into, some of it down into 12s and then a couple of longer lengths. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to glue 2 pines onto an HDF here. Basically that's going to be the back of the caul, and this is where I'm going to have to round it out. So I'm just going to glue all that up. This guy here is going to be the base one. I'm going to glue this together and then I'm going to cut it afterwards. There you go. Rule number 1, if you're ever going to get into woodworking, buy clamps. Fuck the power tools, buy clamps. You can never have too many clamps. Like, throw some more clamps on here, but screw it, that'll do. Trying this new Express wood glue. Don't like this. It's slippery. So, a lot of alignment problems, but now this stuff claims what, 10 minutes? I'm going to go weed whack the yard, so I'm going to give this a few hours here before I get back on it. And it can be really smoochy on the sides because I'm going to clean that up later. It's been about 3 hours. It's more than what they recommend, so we're going to try that. This damn one's split. I don't know what the hell I did wrong when I glued it up, but yeah, I guess setup board. Plenty on this one. So what I did is I took the shit necks, kind of marked the tapers, and we're going to, it's not going to be exactly tapered like this, but basically what we're going to do, that's going to be the start, and then obviously deeper in the center. And I'm pretty well going to have to go a whole layer through. That is not a hand job. I need Mr. Router. Huh. Even the split one worked. I'm impressed. So you can see what I did. Cut a trowel, cut the center deeper on all of this using the super fancy router table there. Look at that, HDF, hunk of aluminum. That's all you need. So I'm going to take a Mr. Belt sander to the side of these things, and then I'm going to round these just a hair. Well, a little bit of careful cutting, and I managed to get 5. So I got 2 base ones. This one's got a little bit of run out there. You'll notice these came out looking a lot nicer than the short ones, but it's because I had room to plane these things. And that's gonna do. One last thing and we're done. So I looked around at my tools. I had nothing to round this over. What I did, this is some dollar store cork tile. I just trimmed down, put in there. It'll contour. The pine's not going to harm anything simply because of the fact, you know, it's pine. It's soft enough. It's not going to harm any woods. And I figure if I've got any sort of thick neck, well, I got some like thick rag that I can use in there instead. Well, yeah, I used to do it all the time with the clamps if something was going to be on for a month. So, but this just gives a little more rigidity, a little bit easier to clamp up too. And there we have a neck clamped up. Now, that's a Harmony neck. It's a little thick for that caul, so I might have to change that one piece of cork over to a piece of cloth or something like that. But yeah, that's going to work. It's out of the way. I've got room for 3 more necks. I'm really happy with that. So there you go. I got a rack. I've got some clamping cauls. I can set up my necks. I don't have to worry about space around here. And I've got an extra caul, so I can still clamp one on the shelf there. Life's good. So before you think I'm a design genius from doing this, pretty simple concept. If you're interested in an idea like really simple racks and furniture and stuff like that, the Bible to this day in the DIY movement, Nomadic Furniture. Can't find volume 1, here's volume 2. Volume 1 goes a little bit more into the physics of doing stuff like that. This is a great book for figuring out design ideas and stuff. A lot of really good ideas on not having to build everything as super permanent. It is a little hippie, but you got to deal with that sometimes. And yeah, it belies the age. So you should be able to find this used. I spent $250 on this. I've found enough copies of these that I could buy them for other people. So if you're interested in that stuff, definitely recommend picking that up. This is something that should really go on Project Gutenberg one of these years. So if you dug that video, do my social networking for me, okay? like, subscribe, share, all that stuff that I don't care about, I don't have time for, because I got guitars to work on. I got a business to run. And even though I didn't have sound samples, please remember, check out my store, northtownsound.com or reverb.com/shop/northtownsound. Lots of great pedals that don't cost a lot of money, more tones, fewer bones, the way that it should be. And projects are coming, more videos coming, hopefully some pedals coming here. I'm just trying to shore up some stuff. And we'll see what's going down, okay? Big Earl, Northtown Sound. Later.